Okay, let's unpack this. When you walk into an aquarium shop or, any pet store, what is your internal monologue doing?
My internal monologue.
Yeah. Are you just like oohing and awing at all the pretty colors? Or are you standing there, arms crossed, thinking, why is that animal designed so poorly?
Can't say I've ever critiqued a goldfish for bad UI design, no. But I have a feeling we're about to meet someone who does.
We absolutely are. Today, we are doing a deep dive into a blog post from kianmeng.org, and it's this really fun entry called Notes on Fishkeeping, Part 190, Why Discuss Shaped Like Pancakes.
And just so everyone is on the same page, that's discussed with a D, not discussed like a debate.
Right.
Though to be honest, the author seems ready to debate the very existence of this fish.
He really is. And that Part 190 in the title, that's your first clue. This is not a casual observer. The author describes himself as an old software plumber.
Which is such a specific and evocative job description. I love that.
Right. It just paints a picture. He's the guy who fixes the messy back-end pipes of the internet. He deals with bugs. He deals with broken systems. And he likes things to be robust.
And so when he's not doing that,
He's applying that same rigorous debugging mindset to his hobbies, gardening, photography, and, of course, fish keeping.
it's the ultimate systems thinking approach, He's not looking at a fish as just a pet.
No.
He's looking at it as a piece of biological software.
Yeah.
And in this post, which is dated February 7th, 2026, he's basically logged a bug report against the discus fish,
A major bug report. And the core complaint is, why is this fish shaped like a breakfast food?
the famous pancake critique.
So our mission today is to debug this fish right along with him. We're going to look at the market forces that put these red fish in the store in the first place, the quality control issues he spots that normal people would miss,
Mm-hmm.
and then finally the evolutionary logic, the source code, if you will, that explains why being shaped like a pancake is actually a feature, not a bug.
It's a classic case of legacy code. It only makes sense when you understand the original operating system it was built for.
I love that. Okay, let's start with the context. It's early February 2026. The author walks into a fish store and he notices a pattern.
The color red, it's just everywhere.
He writes, "It just dawned on me why most fish stores stock species with such vibrant red colors," and he connects it to the festive season.
And given the date, he has to be talking about the Lunar New Year.
Oh, for sure.
Red is the color of luck, prosperity, celebration. So the fish stores aren't just stocking biology, they're stocking, cultural symbols.
It's like a seasonal skin update in a video game. Everyone wants the Red Festival pack.
Exactly. The market demand is filtering the inventory, and he spots two specific fish that fit this trend. One is the red-spotted discus, which we'll get to, but the other one,
The other one he mentions is the spotted King Kong parrot.
the spotted King Kong parrot.
That sounds like a randomly generated password.
It's a fascinating creature to mention alongside the discus. The King Kong parrot is a hybrid cichlid. It doesn't exist in nature. Humans bred it specifically to be round, red, and, well, cute. It's a user-generated fish.
So on one side of the aisle, you have this Frankenstein fish made to look festive.
Mhm.
And on the other side, you have the discus, which naturally looks, weird.
But our software plumber author, he isn't impressed by the festivity at all. He's looking at the red-spotted discus, and he's not seeing luck. He's seeing a rendering error.
This is the part that just cracked me up. He calls the fish in the tank a rejected batch.
It's so harsh, isn't it?
I mean, if I walked in, I'd see a bright red fish and think, cool.
Mhm.
But he tells us to look closer. He says, if you inspect them closely, you'll notice that this is another rejected batch. What is he seeing that we aren't?
He's looking at the texture mapping, to stick
Yeah.
with the tech metaphor.
Okay.
He points at the center of the fish.
Yeah.
He says the pattern is irregular and washed out.
So the red just kind of fades in the middle.
Right. To a hobbyist, or a connoisseur, as he puts it, a high-quality discus is supposed to have a uniform pattern. It should be vivid, consistent from edge to edge, high fidelity.
Okay, so he's looking at this fish and basically seeing a low-resolution JPEG.
Exactly that. He sees pixelation where there should be, vector graphics.
Yeah.
To him, that washed-out center just screams bad genetics or poor breeding. It's a defect.
A quality control failure.
A quality control failure that should have never made it to production or, the retail floor.
It really shows the difference between a casual user and a power user, We see a pet. He sees a failed unit test.
And that failure just reinforces his existing bias because, as he admits right away, he really does not like discus.
He says, to this day, I'm still not a fan. He lumps them in with angelfish as fish he just can't stand. And the reason brings us right back to the title.
The shape.
The shape, the pancake factor.
Yep.
He describes them as having flat pancake bodies. And he doesn't just mean they look silly, he links that shape to them being physically fragile.
And this is where that plumber persona really shines through. A plumber wants pipes that don't leak. A software engineer wants code that doesn't crash.
Right, they value robustness.
They value robustness. And the discus is the opposite of robust.
Let's list the bugs he logs against this fish. He says they are physically large, which sounds good, but then they're also quite fragile, sensitive to water parameters, and notoriously picky eaters.
That sensitive to water parameters part is the real deal breaker for a lot of people who keep fish. It's not just that they prefer clean water. It's that if the pH shifts even slightly or the nitrates creep up a little bit, they get sick.
Oh, wow.
They stop eating, they turn dark, they just give up.
So they're total divas.
But there's a system-level reason for that. And this is something the author touches on, but we should probably dig into it. It's about where they come from.
Okay, let's debug the environment. Why are they so sensitive?
Well, in the wild, discus come from black water environments in the Amazon. And this isn't just dirty water. It's water that's full of tannins from decaying leaves. It's super acidic. It's soft.
Black water sounds kind of metal.
It does, but it's actually extremely sterile. The acidity is so high that very few bacteria can survive in it.
Oh, okay, I think I see where this is going.
Right. Evolution is efficient. If you live in a bubble where bacteria can't survive, why would you waste energy building a complex immune system?
You wouldn't.
You just wouldn't. So the discus evolved with, well, essentially no defense against common bacteria.
So they're like a server that's been air-gapped in a clean room its whole life.
That's a perfect analogy. They are a specialized server in a sterile data center. Then you catch them, ship them to a pet store, and you drop them in tap water, which to them is like a filthy, bacteria-ridden garage.
And then they crash.
And they crash hard. That's why the author calls them high maintenance. To keep them alive, you have to basically recreate that sterile clean room in your living room. You have to change the water constantly. You have to monitor the chemistry daily.
Which, for a guy who calls himself a software plumber, someone who probably automates tasks to save time, that just sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
He wants set it and forget it, and the discus is monitor it or it dies.
It's a dependency nightmare.
But then, in the middle of drafting this whole rant about how much he hates these fragile pancakes, he has a realization. Oh, wait a minute, moment.
He checks the documentation.
He looks up the taxonomy and realizes the discus is a cichlid.
And for the non-fish nerds listening, we really need to pause on why this broke his brain for a second.
Yeah, because to me, a fish is a fish. Why is it so weird that a discus is a cichlid?
Okay, so think of the cichlid family as the rugged SUVs of the fish world.
Yeah.
Your typical cichlid like an Oscar or a Jack Dempsey or a convict cichlid is a tank. They are thick, muscular, aggressive fish. They dig up plants. They will bite your hand if you put it in the tank. They are survivors.
So cichlids are kind of the gym bros of the aquarium.
Basically, yeah. They're built for brawling. And then you have the discus.
The fine china plate.
Right. It's thin, it's shy, it gets scared if you walk past the tank too fast. The author literally asks, why don't they look like normal cichlid? It's like opening a crate marked heavy machinery and finding a delicate stained glass window inside.
It's a fork in the code that went in a completely different direction.
A radical divergence.
So here's the central mystery of the episode. We have a fish that seems badly designed. It's fragile, it's shaped weirdly, and it doesn't fit with its own family tree. So why did nature code it this way?
The author finds the answer in the release notes, so to speak. It all comes down to habitat.
Flooded forests.
Yes. This is distinct from just a river. In the Amazon, during the rainy season, the water level rises by meters. It floods the entire surrounding jungle.
I'm just picturing trees underwater.
But not just the trunks. Think about the complexity of a forest floor. You've got vines, tangled roots, fallen branches, brush, brambles. Now just submerge all of that. It becomes a chaotic, three-dimensional labyrinth.
It's like a dense mesh.
Exactly. Now, try to navigate that mesh if you are a normal, cichlid, thick, torpedo-shaped, bulky.
You're going to get stuck.
You're bumping into everything. You have a huge collision box. You can't turn around in tight spaces. You are glitching into the scenery constantly.
But if you're a pancake?
If you are vertically compressed, flat, like a disc, you can slice right through. The author realizes that this pancake shape isn't some aesthetic choice, it's a navigation hack.
It's aerodynamic, or I guess hydrodynamic, for a cluttered environment.
It's like turning a piece of paper sideways to slide it between two books. The discus can slip through gaps in the roots that a predator, or even a standard cichlid, couldn't possibly fit through.
So the fragility, the lack of bulk, is actually a trade-off for mobility.
It's the classic engineering trade-off.
Right.
Durability versus agility.
Right.
The standard cichlid went for durability. The discus went all in on agility and stealth.
Stealth.
Think about the shape again. If a predator is looking for you in a forest of vertical tree trunks and roots, and you turn sideways,
Oh, you disappear.
you become a line. You just vanish against the texture of the wood.
Wow. That changes everything. The author starts the post thinking the discus is bad code because it's not robust, but by the end he realizes it's highly optimized code. It's just optimized for a very, very specific runtime environment.
That's the software plumber revelation. The discus isn't buggy. It's just hyper-specialized.
Yeah.
It's an application written for one specific OS, the flooded forest. And when you try to run it on a general-purpose OS, the aquarium,
It crashes.
Yeah.
That explains the diva behavior perfectly. It's not trying to be difficult, it's just throwing error messages because the environment variables are all wrong.
And honestly, it makes you respect the design.
Yeah.
Even if, like the author,
Yeah.
you still don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, he doesn't end the post by saying, I'm going to buy 10 of them.
No, not at all. Quite the opposite. He appreciates the why, but he still prefers his low-maintenance setups. He acknowledges that form follows function, but he's happy to let someone else manage that particular function.
Which is fair. I mean, just because I understand why a Formula One car is built the way it is doesn't mean I want to drive one in rush hour traffic.
It breaks down too easily, and I think that brings us back to that first point about the rejects in the store, the washed-out red color.
Oh, right. Does the flooded forest theory explain the color too?
In a way, yeah. The author mentions that the good discus have these vivid, uniform patterns. In the murky, tannin-stained water of a flooded forest, visibility is really low. So you don't need to be seen by predators, but you do need to be seen by your own species for mating.
Ah, so the pattern is a signal.
It's likely a high-contrast identifier. It says, I am here, I am healthy. A washed-out pattern. That rendering error the author spotted in the wild, that might mean you don't get a mate, your genes don't get passed on.
So nature has its own quality control department.
And it is ruthless. The pet store might try to sell the rejects, but the flooded forest would have deleted that code from the repository a long, long time ago.
It's brutal, but it's efficient. You know, this whole journey started with a guy just grumbling about fish shapes, but we've covered market economics, genetic taxonomy, and environmental engineering.
That's what happens when you apply that plumber mindset.
Yeah.
You pull on one thread, why is this fish flat? And you realize it's connected to the entire Amazonian ecosystem.
It really reframes how we look at flaws.
Completely.
Yeah.
We look at things that are fragile or weirdly shaped or, ugly, and we assume it's a mistake. But in biology, there are very few mistakes that stick around for millions of years.
If it exists, it's solving a problem.
Exactly. The problem might not be obvious to us sitting in our air-conditioned living rooms, but the solution is there. The discus is the solution to the problem of how do I swim through a tangled root ball without getting stuck?
It makes me want to look at other weird animals differently. Like, what is the flooded forest for a sloth? Or a platypus?
Or even that King Kong parrotfish we mentioned at the start. What's its environment?
The sales tank.
The human wallet. It evolved to survive in a marketplace. It's round and cute because that triggers our caretaking instincts. Its flooded forest is the human desire for novelty.
That is slightly terrifying, but also very true.
It's all systems responding to pressure.
So here's where I want to leave it for you today. We all have that inner software plumber, that voice that critiques things for being inefficient or high maintenance.
The voice that asks, why is this so complicated?
Right. So next time you hear that voice, whether you're looking at a weird animal, a confusing piece of architecture, or maybe even a coworker's strange habit, stop and ask the follow-up question.
Don't just ask, why is this broken? Ask, what environment was this optimized for?
You might find that the pancake you're looking at is actually a stealth fighter in disguise.
You just have to find the forest it belongs in.
Exactly. Thanks for diving deep with us into the weird world of fish taxonomy and flooded forests. And thanks to qianmeng.org for the fascinating field notes.
Always a pleasure to debug nature with you.
We'll see you on the next deep dive. Keep asking questions.